Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this.
Down to 3 available senior centre-backs following the loss of the Italian. Liverpool clearly need to bolster their ranks in the short term, with further recruitment also needed at the back going forward. Guehi has been one of the standout defenders in the Premier League so far this season and was so close to joining the Reds back in September. While his arrival might not fix all their woes this season, he would at least help aid matters. I would argue that Liverpool would benefit from signing Semenyo too, having not signed a direct replacement for Luis Diaz. The Ghanaian's pace, power, work rate and versatility are all attributes that would certainly add to the current ranks. But Slot at least already has Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Federico Chiesa, Jeremy Frimpong and Rio Ngumoha to select on the flanks without any new arrival. An injury on the wings would not, at this point, be catastrophic, but one more injury at the heart of defense and the Reds are looking at a crisis. While they would benefit from a new forward, they desperately need another centre-back. Mark Jones wouldn't have cured all the ills we've seen in defense this season, but as time has gone by, missing out on Mark Guehi has looked more and more of a damaging blow for Liverpool. Guehi is by no means the perfect defender, and sure enough, when it looked as though the Reds were going to sign him back in the summer, there were plenty of people willing to point out the flaws in his game, but he is a Premier League proven performer at a time when the division is at its most unforgiving. His leadership would have been most welcome the past couple of months. So I think the summer interest simply has to be followed up with a winter deal, not least because Liverpool will want to look as though they remain true to their word where transfers are concerned. As far as they saw at the summer deal for Guehi was as good as done before Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish got cold feet, largely because his manager Oliver Glasner appeared set to walk out if the England defender was allowed to go. Things will have surely calmed down now. Glasner and Parish will have had chance to line up a replacement, and while Palace won't want Guehi to leave, they also know that he'll be out of the door for nothing in the summer anyway. This is their last chance to cash in on him. A move for Antoine Semenyo would be exciting, and I wouldn't be overly surprised to see the Reds go for both in January. But in a world where they can only have one this winter, then it has to be Guehi, who is prioritized. You can see what appears to be coming down the tracks where Ibrahima Konate is concerned. While Joe Gomez's future is forever unclear and Virgil van Dijk will be 35 at the end of the season, good centre-backs need to be added, and added quickly. Alexander Isak. Liverpool transfer criticisms blasted as ex-teammate makes defiant promise. Nacho Monreal has thrown his support behind Alexander Isak and predicted that the Swedish striker will soon silence his critics at Liverpool after a slow start. Isak, 26, made a Premier League record-breaking £125 million move to Anfield from Newcastle United in September. However, since swapping St James Park for Merseyside, Isak has only found the back of the net once in 8 appearances, with fitness and injury issues hampering his progress. The forward effectively went on strike to secure his exit from Newcastle during the summer, training alone for most of preseason and not featuring in any of the Magpies friendlies or opening Premier League matches. After finally securing his move to Liverpool, Isak was left playing catch-up due to his disjointed summer, with both Liverpool and Sweden managing his game time carefully. As a result, his progress was further hindered when he was forced off at halftime during Liverpool's win over Eintracht Frankfurt last month, missing 4 games as a result. Isak returned to the squad as an unused substitute for Liverpool's 3-0 defeat to Man City before the November international break. He then made his return from injury as a substitute for Sweden in their 4-1 loss to Switzerland, but was left on the bench against Slovenia to avoid the risk of suspension. The Spaniard acknowledges things have been challenging for the Swedish striker at Liverpool so far, as he continues to face questions over his limited impact at Anfield relative to his substantial transfer fee. However, having witnessed his quality at close quarters, Monreal has no doubts that Isak will soon find the net regularly to silence doubters and re-establish himself amongst the Premier League's elite forwards. It's been very difficult for Alexander Isak, Monreal admitted to Betten. He clearly wanted to go to Liverpool at the start of the summer transfer window. The fact it didn't happen until right at the end meant he didn't get a preseason, which has clearly had a big impact on his fitness. He has done it for Newcastle over the last few seasons and he's going to do the same for Liverpool. I've seen firsthand how much quality he has and it's just a matter of time before he shows it in a red shirt. In my opinion, he's a brilliant signing for Liverpool. He needs time to get fit, but when that happens, people will see what he can do. They paid a lot of money for him, but I don't think you can say he's a waste of money or anything like that. When you bring in a top striker like Isak, you are going to have to pay big money for them. I doubt that when he starts scoring 20+ goals a season, many will talk about the transfer fee. Why Liverpool have struggled to gel after £446 million transfer spree. When Liverpool beat Chelsea in the 2024 Carabao Cup final, manager Jurgen Klopp branded the victory the most special of his storied career. He did so not because of the stature of the competition, nor because of the prize money on offer, but because of the nature of his team's triumph. With Liverpool's squad decimated by injury, Klopp was forced to field several academy players at Wembley, and his team defied expectations to win 1-0 thanks to an extra-time header from captain Virgil van Dijk, while Klopp and his squad were lavished with praise. Mauricio Pochettino's expensively assembled Chelsea side were ridiculed, with Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville infamously dubbing the Blues billion-pound bottle jobs on account of their heavy transfer spending over recent years, less than 2 years on, however. And it is Arne Slot's Liverpool who are now the subject of intense scrutiny following an unprecedented summer in which they spent £446 million to sign 7 new players, the highest outlay by a Premier League club in a single window, having romped to the title last season. It seemed like the Reds' stunning summer was destined to take Slot's squad to the next level. But 11 games into the new campaign, Liverpool's title defense lies in tatters, with a disappointing run of 5 defeats in 6 league games leaving them in 8th place. 8 points adrift of leaders Arsenal, having been the masters of consistency last season. The champions now look like a team in transition and are quickly learning that winning the transfer window does not always equate to instant success on the pitch. But how difficult is it for elite teams to integrate new players? And is it only a matter of time before Liverpool's massive summer rebuild starts to yield winning results? We delve deeper, with the help of former chief executive and sporting director at AS Monaco, Tor Christian Carlson. New arrivals impact a team's intensity despite last season's title success. It was always likely to be a transformative summer for Liverpool. Having signed only winger Federico Chiesa ahead of the 2024-25 campaign, the Reds needed a revamp, particularly in attack. Sources have told ESPN that forwards Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez had both expressed a desire to leave the club, while the tragic death of striker Diogo Jota further impacted the Reds' transfer strategy. With the number of first-team departures to offset, Liverpool brought in 7 new signings, including £69 million for Eintracht Frankfurt forward Hugo Ekitike, £100 million to land Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Florian Wirtz, and £125 million to sign Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak. Despite a strong start to the campaign, Liverpool followed up their run of 7 successive wins in all competitions with a dismal sequence of 7 defeats in 10, with both Wirtz and Isak failing to hit the ground running at Anfield. When people come in for huge money and there's lots of expectation, it's easy to be disappointed. Former Liverpool midfielder David Thompson told ESPN, "It's about managing expectations. But what I expect is even if things aren't going well, when you're playing for Liverpool, you've still got to roll your sleeves up and do something for the team. That might look like working hard, closing down from the front, sprinting, just basically working super hard. There is work rate there from the lads that have come in. But it's not the same as what Liverpool had with Diaz or Núñez or Jota, particularly out of possession. So even if you can't bring your game in possession as a new player, you need to be able to bring a bit of tempo and energy off the ball." Thompson was a product of Liverpool's academy, making his first team debut in 1996, and he credits the senior members of the squad with helping to set the standards for incoming players during his time at the club. "The big example I think of when I was coming through is Ian Rush," he said. "I was shocked at the level of defensive work that he did, even in the practice games. It had always been highlighted through the youth teams, but actually when we got to Melwood and started training with the first team, the amount of intense traps that Rush would set was insane. It was probably abnormal how he could go from being so still, just looking uninterested, to then just going boom. And he'd be straight on you and taking the ball off you. That's what I always expect from Liverpool. That tempo and intensity. That lack of intensity is evidenced by Liverpool's pressing stats this season. In terms of high turnovers, the amount of times a team turns over possession high up the pitch, Liverpool are averaging just 6.9 per game. According to Opta, this is down from 8.1 high turnovers per game last season, and 10.3 in Klopp's final season in 2023-24. Liverpool are also posting less favorable numbers in terms of PPDA, opposition passes allowed per defensive action, which assesses how many opposition passes a team permits before making an interception. In this metric, the lower the PPDA the better, but this season Liverpool's PPDA stands at an average of 11.0, up from 10.3 last term and 8.9 in 2023-24. Borussia Dortmund star dreams of making Liverpool transfer as contract talks drag on. Borussia Dortmund winger Karim Adeyemi reportedly dreams of playing for one of two clubs in the
Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.